Today, we explore one of the most influential and mysterious figures in all of human history, Moses. His story shapes Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Yet much about his life remains hidden behind ancient texts, faith traditions, and centuries of debate. What we know, what we do not know, what is believed, and what may be legend all blend together in the life of the man who spoke with God and led a nation out of slavery. According to the Bible, Moses was born in Egypt during a time when the Israelites were enslaved, and Pharaoh had ordered the death of all Hebrew male infants. His mother hid him for 3 months, then placed him in a basket along the Nile River. He was discovered by Pharaoh's daughter and raised in the Egyptian royal household. This is one of the strongest known facts from Scripture. Moses grew up with access to Egyptian education, culture, and power, yet the Bible makes clear that he never forgot his Hebrew identity. One of the earliest confirmed truths about Moses from the biblical account is that he killed an Egyptian overseer who was beating a Hebrew slave. This act forced Moses to flee Egypt and escape into the land of Midian. There, he lived as a shepherd, married Zipporah, and spent 40 years in obscurity. This long period of silence in his life is often overlooked, but it is one of the most significant truths in the narrative. The man who would later confront Pharaoh first learned humility in the wilderness. The turning point of Moses' life occurs at the burning bush. The Bible states that God appeared to Moses in a bush that burned without being consumed and revealed his divine name. God commissioned Moses to return to Egypt and lead the Israelites out of bondage. This encounter is presented in Scripture as a direct and literal revelation from God. Whether understood as a supernatural event or a visionary experience is one of the great debates among scholars. But within the biblical worldview, this is treated as an actual historical moment. Another well-known truth is that Moses was reluctant to lead. He claimed he was slow of speech and feared confronting Pharaoh. God appointed his brother Aaron as his spokesman. This detail challenges the myth that Moses was a naturally confident leader. Instead, the Bible portrays him as hesitant, fearful, and deeply aware of his limitations. The Exodus itself is one of the most debated events in all of ancient history. The Bible describes God sending 10 plagues upon Egypt, culminating in the death of the firstborn and the liberation of the Israelites. Some scholars believe the plagues may have natural explanations linked to ecological disasters, while others insist they were unmistakably supernatural acts of judgment. Archaeological evidence for the Exodus is heavily debated, and while there is no direct Egyptian record confirming it, Egyptian records often avoided documenting national humiliation or defeat. The parting of the Red Sea is one of the most iconic moments associated with Moses. Scripture states that Moses stretched out his staff and the waters divided, allowing the Israelites to cross on dry ground before collapsing on the pursuing Egyptian army. Some theories suggest a shallow reed sea, strong winds, or rare tidal phenomena. Another foundational truth is that Moses served as the mediator of God's covenant with Israel. At Mount Sinai, Moses ascended the mountain and received the 10 Commandments, written by the finger of God according to Scripture. He also received extensive laws governing worship, morality, and daily life. This establishes Moses not only as a leader, but as a lawgiver whose influence shaped legal and ethical systems for thousands of years. A lesser-known but significant fact is that Moses broke the first set of stone tablets in anger when he descended the mountain and found the people worshipping the golden calf. This moment reveals Moses' humanity and deep emotional struggle. He later returned to the mountain to receive a second set of tablets, reinforcing the theme of mercy following judgment. One of the most profound truths about Moses is his unique relationship with God. The Bible states that God spoke to Moses face to face as one speaks to a friend. No other prophet is described in this way. Yet Moses was not permitted to enter the Promised Land because he struck the rock in anger instead of speaking to it as God commanded. This raises deep theological questions about leadership, obedience, and accountability. The death of Moses is surrounded by mystery. Scripture says he died at the age of 120, with his strength undiminished and his eyesight unimpaired. He was buried by God in an unknown location, and no one knows his grave to this day. This has fueled centuries of theories, including beliefs that Moses was taken directly by God, or that his burial place was hidden to prevent idol worship. One major scholarly debate centers on whether Moses wrote the first 5 books of the Bible, traditionally called the Law or Torah. Jewish and Christian tradition attribute authorship to Moses, while modern scholars suggest multiple sources compiled over time. This does not diminish Moses' role as the foundational authority behind the law, but it raises questions about how the texts were transmitted and preserved. There are also myths and legends that developed outside the Bible. Some ancient Jewish traditions claim Moses was a towering giant or possessed supernatural strength. Other legends say he wore a radiant crown, or that his face emitted literal beams of light, which may explain artistic depictions of Moses with horns, based on a translation issue in Exodus describing his radiant appearance. In Islamic tradition, Moses is considered one of the greatest prophets and is mentioned more frequently in the Quran than any other prophet. While many elements align with the biblical account, additional details appear, reinforcing Moses' role as a deliverer and messenger of God. One of the greatest unknowns is how much of Moses' life intersects with verifiable Egyptian history. Pharaoh is never named in the biblical text, leading to ongoing debates about which dynasty or ruler may have opposed Moses. Scholars propose various candidates, but no consensus exists. What remains undeniable is Moses' impact. Whether viewed through faith, history, or legend, Moses stands as a symbol of liberation, obedience, struggle, and divine calling. His life reflects a man chosen not because of perfection, but because of obedience. Known and unknown, historical and mysterious, Moses remains a figure who changed the spiritual and moral direction of the world.